club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0. Can you believe it?
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we are bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Ooh, sir. How you doing? How you doing? Did the deed against LASK, second leg, round 16, Europa League. Heading on into our knockout on Monday. How you feeling?
The Thrilla in Manchester. Songs will be sung of this for generations, sir. Manchester United beat LASK 2-1 on aggregate, 7-1. Absolute trouncing, but it's a poor Austrian side. We expected it. Thought we were going to get more youth. Ole really showing his intention with the starting 11. What'd you make of that decision not to play more youth?
Wasn't super surprised. I thought maybe give a punt to an unnamed player, maybe a Garner, Menji, get a chance to start. Wasn't the case. I was a little surprised to see Maguire. Everyone else made sense. This is the second string team. They should get a run out, and that was anticipated going into the game. So would have liked to see more of a youth, but this is kind of the tried and true and tested B team that we've seen from United. So bad expected.
Look, it wasn't the best match, but we did get it done. Tony Marshall gets his goal coming on. This was a formality, let's be honest. Like, as fans, it's great to see a game, great to have a match, but this is just one of those games where it's just like, on to the next one.
Yeah, you start with a 5-0 win at home. I think it's like, no one thinks that United was linking 5 goals, even without Harry Maguire today.
5-0 away, coming back home.
So they need 6, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, this was a formality. Check the box. It's basically like this should be a rule after 5 goals if you're headed into a single elimination knockout type of scenario that usually they call the mercy rule on this. But they gave us a fight. The game turned into a game, but we got the win, which is happy enough. So
yeah, and nothing to write home about. I think the biggest news everyone's watching on Twitter, obviously Sancho to Manchester United. We'll get to that later. All the transfer buzz, what's going on. So it's almost like that outweighed this fixture. The lads coming into this one, obviously, they had about a week off, not too much time. A lot of B team players didn't really show up. So again, Ole finishing the league, playing the same starting 11, switches up here, and we come out flat. Is it really, we need depth? Is that really the issue in the transfer market? We look at this B team, we're like, we're not doing much, especially if we're not doing much against LASK.
yeah, I'm not reading too much into this performance, this game. I think everybody knows this United team needs depth, right? We've been calling out, you saw it in the push for the Premier League season. I don't think we should make too much of this. It's like the first go of it. Like you said, it's a formality. We just had to get through and move on to the quarterfinals. So it'd be interesting to see. That's going to be interesting to see is who does Ole play? Is he going to play full on the starting 11 that we saw up until the end of the season, or is he going to do a mix, or is he going to go to the B again?
Oh, no, he's absolutely going for it. He's absolutely going to go try to win this trophy. I think Copenhagen will see full steam ahead. We'll see that same starting 11. Clearly, they're rested. Some of them got to run out. But we'll get into that a bit later, sir. Quick PSA for the podcast. If you haven't yet, please drop a review on iTunes. It goes a long way for us being found. Again, if you want to support independent fan content, that is the easiest way for you to help us out. 5 stars on iTunes. We're giving away a sticker. Screenshot, email to us at americanreddevils.com. And we will ship you out a sticker. Include your address, please. Also, check out the blog, americanreddevils.com. Alex, editor-in-chief, doing a great job. We have some merchandise there as well. Click on shop. We sold out of our inaugural scarves, but the good news is we got an awesome design for 2021, sir. We got all the trophies Manchester United ever won on the back. Greatest of English football. We've won it all. That is a beautiful scarf.
End of. Don't forget it. Support the pod, right? Check out the store. We ended the inaugural scarf, but we got a new scarf coming in the fall, so we're excited about that. We do have some Glazer Out scarves as well, but we appreciate all the support we get. People going to the blog.
I got a feeling
people checking us out.
The Glazers Out is making a strong comeback. We've actually been selling a lot of the Avram Glazer clown nose t-shirts. That's been popular. As we know, we saw this week Eddie Woodward kind of stepping back on Sancho. I think a lot of people are going to be protesting. Fans are going to demand that this club spend. We've done the financials. We know they're broke. We know they've bled this club dry. So we're going to start seeing that in the market. I think Woodward, Glazers are going to be under a lot of pressure. Protest the ownership. Green and gold to the club is sold.
Sancho is the minimum. This shouldn't get them off the hook because they pick up Sancho, maybe a center back, maybe some midfielding options. They put a lot of this club. There's a lot of investment due. We need a big summer, and we need to keep investing in the club from there. But let them know how you feel. Pick up a green and gold scarf while they last. I'm going to have to re-up on those as well, sir, because not many left. But future is looking bright, isn't it?
And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is it for the PSA. We keep this podcast ad-free because, again, for fans, by fans. Let's jump into the official match breakdown. Manchester United 2, LASK 1. On aggregate, it was 7-1 at Old Trafford, sir. UEFA Europa League. It's going to be the last match we play at Old Trafford for this crazy COVID season. Round of 16. Let's jump into the lineup. We had Romero, world number 2 in net. Bailly, Maguire, center back pairing, Fostermans on the right, B-Dubs on the left. Absolutely love seeing B-Dubs in. Fred, McTominay, midfield 2. James on the left. Lingard in the hole. Mata on the right. Gallo FC up top. Again, we touched on it. Were you surprised to see this many starters? Maguire, a lot of people are questioning.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that jumped out at me when I saw this lineup. He's the one that had played a lot of games in the last push. But when you look at the substitutes bench, which I didn't see initially, I only saw the starting 11. The next center back in line is an 18-year-old, right, who hasn't even made his debut yet. So it's a thin center back lineup at the moment. So Maguire just has to give him a nod. I would have liked to see the youngster come in a little earlier because I think it was pretty obvious that they weren't going to ship the farm. But I think Ole wanted the win, so that's why he put Maguire in.
Yeah, this is a responsible starting 11 from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah. I think he wants the trophy. I like that in Ole. He might not come out and say it, but he's greedy. He wants it all. He wants to win that silverware. I think it'll go a long way for him on his resume as Manchester United manager. You look at the team still left in the tournament. We're the favorites. So he's going to put out a strong defensive line, especially when you got Fostermans and Williams. You kind of need that general at the back. Maguire, he did a good job. I thought Maguire played well today. And then the Fred McTominay midfield. We haven't seen this really since January. And boy, Fred, I mean, he's fallen ever since he hasn't been playing a lot. He's kind of fallen off, in my opinion. James, I was excited about him. Thought he could do some work. Mata, I don't like him on the wing. And Agalu, I wanted to see him get in form, score a goal. That's what we need. This is confidence-building play here for Manchester United. Jumping into the match, LASK comes out really hot, but they die down. But United are struggling to find the final third. I mean, LASK dominated. The high press we couldn't deal with. We couldn't play out of the back. Obviously, we have Romero in place of De Gea, but continues to be an issue. And with a team like LASK, if we're not really dominating the match, kind of nervy stuff to start the match.
Well, they came out with ambition, right? They have a game to turn around. If they wanted to have anything in this hunt for the tie, they needed to make an impact early and get some goals early. So they were going for it. Respect that. We were still not changing the plan. I was a little surprised that he was insisting on playing in the back with the B team, but that is what Ole wants to see out of his boys. So they were coming at us, but like you said, a little sloppy, a little disjointed. You could tell these players haven't played a ton together. They haven't gotten a ton of minutes. Rusty, but in a game that, for all purposes, it was a formality.
No, absolutely. You got to cut the boys some slack. They're playing in new jerseys. Level of play was poor.
What do you think about those jerseys?
The Austrian team looks like a preseason match to me. This had preseason all over. It was pretty much of a snooze. 5th minute, Maguire, towering header over the bar. If I had $1 for every time Maguire put his slab head on an open corner and couldn't score, I mean, that's something he's got to work on. He needs to improve his goal scoring record because he gets on these and he's not converting or not even putting them on target. 9th minute, crossbar, LASK showing their intention. A warning for United. Andrade from LASK loops a header towards goal off the bar. Romero, just watching that one. Yikes. Looked like LASK were going to score. They looked like the team more likely to score from the jump. 29th minute, chance. Fred slides the ball through for McTominay. Kind of gets stuck in his feet. Couldn't get it out. I mean, this has kind of summed up the day. Again, it's been a while since McTominay's gotten a lot of minutes. So there's a little bit of rust there. But again, United not fit and firing. We had 0 shots on target through the 29th minute.
Yeah, I mean, it was not vintage stuff. Like you said, actually, there's an opportunity early, I think in the first 10 minutes from Mata. They had him on the break. And I think all he had to do was square up a Galu, and he missed that pass, went to a corner. I think that led to the Maguire chance that you talked about. But it was just everything, we were a little off. We weren't clicking, and they were coming at us, and they looked to have a lot of energy. United countered with the same, but it was disjointed. It wasn't the most entertaining match to watch, and I think that was pretty obvious pretty early on.
Yeah, it was like preseason. We weren't getting our crosses in. There were a few more chances in the first half. James, Fosu-Mensah, poor cross attempts as well. That final ball in the final third just evaded United. We couldn't really put it together. Second half, more of the same. And then, you know what? In the 55th minute, they looked like it. Who knew LASK had this in their locker?
Andrade close already for LASK. Oh, that's wonderful. What a fantastic goal. Would you believe it? It's an absolute bullet from Philip Weisinger. First goal.
Cuts Ole on the bench. Sulkin, Philip Weisinger. What a hit. Deflection from a corner and just absolute banger. Unbelievable goal from LASK. They're on the scoreboard. 54th minute. I wasn't really sweating it at all because they need to score 5 and keep a clean sheet in order to push it to extra time.
Yeah, nobody was sweating at this point. And you look back at the goals that have been conceded, maybe this year, maybe under Ole, it's either just defensive errors and just brain farts or just bangers. There's been a combo of the two, just just defensive calamities and just out of the box. Well done, sir. It's a peach of a goal.
And that reminded me of the Wolves corner goal bar down earlier in the season, way back in the fall.
Or Grealish's banger.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't have to wait long. Our man Jesse, 2 for 2. 57th minute.
Lingard in the clear, and Manchester United get their equaliser. LASK's joy was short-lived. Well, maybe they were still thinking about the goal that they'd scored, because this time Weisinger was out of position.
Jesse put on through, had a lot to do. He teed it up, finished it. Good on Jesse Lingard. He celebrates. No one runs over to celebrate with him. I think that sums it up, right?
I didn't notice that. I didn't see the lack of celebration from the rest of the team. I'm sure they showed up eventually. Jesse, hopefully he's just bumping up that asking price when he moves on to another English side, because that's where you see him moving. I see him going to a Palace, Burnley,
West Ham.
Perfect West Ham.
Doing Burnley. 63rd minute subs, double change for United. Lingard and Fred taken off. Pogba Pereira comes on. Pereira, frosted tips, the real Slim Shady. He came on. I think he did a great job. Lingard, Fred off early. What do you think? Do you make anything of that? Paul Scholes post-game on BT Sports says he thinks that might be the end of the road for Fred and Jesse Lingard. Why is Ole yanking him? They should be playing the rest of the match, right?
Fred, I mean, that's interesting. Maybe that's just he wants to get Pogba minutes. Maybe he wants to get Pogba a goal. I mean, you think he's not shipping Fred. We need midfield options.
Fred was poor. He was poor for 60 minutes.
The whole team was poor. I mean, you're going to call out people. Mata wasn't great at times. Fred wasn't great at times.
No, but Pogba came in, and I think it changed the game.
Oh, Pogba. He just stands above, head and shoulders the rest of the team.
But he's only 30 million more than Fred, if you think about it. It's kind of funny.
You put it that way. Yeah. He's a hell of a player. He's a lot more of a player. He's worth double Fred.
Jesse didn't want to come off, and I think this is kind of... Look, Ole, he said a lot of things in the press. We'll see what happens in the summer. Maybe we're trying to deal Fred. Maybe we're trying to deal Jesse. Maybe we're not getting rid of anyone. You don't know. Chris Smalling, is he coming back? I don't know. Ed Woodward, football transfer genius. Maybe he's playing 4D chess. We're all playing checkers over here. 73rd minute sub. Williams is placed by Heath Chong. Chong came on. He looked good, looked sharp. You talk about intention as a player, getting these types of minutes off the bench. Chong came on. He had a fire in him. He chased things down, looked quick, looked sharp. He had that pace, that intensity that we were lacking the entire match. And to see a youngster come on and show that, I thought it was great. I thought he should have started.
He looked like it. I mean, he put in a performance where you said, he could have an influence if he had started early in the game. Chong is looking a player. You know, he's probably not going to get his minutes from the bench. He's someone that would do well with a loan next year, maybe abroad. But he's a player there. He's got a lot of talent, and I think depending on where we strengthen, if we do get into Sancho, it makes sense to send him his way. But if we do not, and we're dealt with Dan James as one of two options, I would keep Chong around.
Well, we need depth on the wing, right? And if you think about Chong, he's a perfect squad player, come in cup matches. Off the bench, I'm thinking super sub for Chong. Dan James, is he a made man? I don't know. The trajectory on how James is playing is like not good. Again, crossing not good enough. He wasn't able to finish, didn't come off for James once again. I think Ole trusts him, but how many more starts do you give James before you start starting Chong? I think something's got to give there, and we do need to find a squad player who can come in on the wing, inject some pace late in matches, and make a difference.
But are they going to be given a chance now? It's like now we're going into a tournament where it's single elimination knockout.
No, not anymore. After
so
this
that was
game.
their chance.
I'm talking
right?
about next season. What
right,
I saw in Chong is what I want to see in a squad player for next season. I think he shouldn't be loaned out because we don't have the problem when we finished the league was that we didn't have that killer sub to come on and change it up. I mean, even Chelsea. I mean, look, everyone's gonna laugh, but Chelsea brings in Pedro on the wing. Pedro's terrible. But you put Dan James in or you put Chong in, I'd rather have a Pedro, right? So you need someone to mix it up. If Chong can step up and be that player, I think so be. He showed something today. That's more than a lot of lads out there.
You need options, and you need players that are hungry. Chong looks hungry, and that's why he's here. Gomez, I'm not doubting his hunger, but I think there's a reason that one stayed, one good. Went.
Yeah. 85th minute, James is replaced by Martial, and Menji is on for his debut. Another debut for Manchester United, the 8th this season from the academy. Exactly what you like to see. Didn't get to see too much of him, but he looked sharp in what we got to see. And we didn't have to wait long. Manchester United, we always score, sir. We always score. Can Martial do it?
Martial, one match again. Here's Martial, brilliant footwork, wonderful goal, superbly taken by Anthony Martial, who's had to fidget on the bench for most of the evening. Sat this one out.
50 million down the drain. Tony Marshall scores again.
I mean, comes off the bench, looks super sharp. Tony Marshall, 50 million down the drain. Absolute. I mean, link up with Mata looks sharp. Best Mata looked all game. Playing with the Frenchman, dribbles through, and no doubt he was going to finish it.
That sharpness right there. I mean, for me, my player this season, Tony Martial, having a barn burner, now our leading goal scorer, well-deserved. Goes in, shows that bit of class, shows that sharpness that you get from just playing week in, week out in that restart. That was absolutely nuts. I cannot wait. Seeing that gets me excited to see a fit and firing starting 11 just take on a mighty Copenhagen side.
Yeah, mighty Copenhagen. Copenhagen stir. Look, 93rd minute. That's all, folks. 2-1 Manchester United. My takeaways, Prayer looked good when he came on. Chong looked good when he came on. Fred, I think he's on the decline. Hopefully he can turn it around. Again, we moved the ball quickly. Like Tony Marshall came on. Quick 1-2 with Mata. Goal. That's what we really need. Keep up the intensity. I thought B-Dubs played well. I thought there were highlights here. Again, Ole doesn't know his best B team. I think this is the last version we're going to see. Go to play Copenhagen. He's going to play full strength. We're coming to win this tournament, sir. I mean, we got the quarters. We got the semis. We got 3 matches to get a piece of silverware. He's going to go all in. Yep. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. First manager since Sir Alex Ferguson to win a trophy, get top 4 in the same season. Hasn't been done since. Big milestone. Need that silverware.
That's a good stat. I like that stat. Need that silverware. 3 matches, like you said, and we want to win it. There's no doubt about that. It's the right mentality to have. The boys look fired up. I mean, you saw there were videos on Twitter. Saw it right before we started the pod of Bruno being like the last man off and them doing extra shooting training with the first team, the proper starting 11. So, like you said, they're fired up. There's not going to be a B squad for Monday's game. So, looking forward to that. It is a piece of silverware that might as well win.
I wish it was on Sunday.
Monday. I like
the week. I like with the weekend games. Also, a few other talking points for the match. What do you think of the new kit? New kit comes out. We're obviously wearing it for the rest of the tournament. What do you think of it?
I'm looking for the right sound on the new soundboard. So very impressive. Can't find it.
Is it? I believe it's this one. Sell.
Yeah, basically, that'll do. Meh. I mean, it's not great. It's better than the monstrosity that leaked months ago, but Adidas is not an innovative company as it comes to like kits. Certainly, when Manchester United,
like Adidas.
I know. It's very divisive.
I'm like, look, I'm a Nike guy. I like Nike. I think their stuff's next level. I even buy like other teams' Nike gear because I like it so much. It's tough, sir. I go other league. Atletico Madrid, they got some good Nike gear. I buy it because the quality's good. I bought Manchester United Adidas training pants. Those things lasted maybe a year. Buy some Nike Atletico Madrid pants. They're great. They're the best. Manchester United losing Nike, that broke my heart.
I thought this was ad free, sir.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like Nike gear is it's just got that extra. And Adidas is like the brand, the old school football brand. So I wear the Copa Mundials. I got the Adidas cleats, but for whatever reason, it's like Manchester United. Their selection on their store isn't even that good. It's like it's insane. The amount of money that Woodward could make if he's listening to this pod. If he just has some decent training gear or anything, they kind of bottle it. Adidas. A lot of people looking for the retro stuff. I'm not going to shit on everything, but as far as like the training gear, the fresh jackets, the best kits, Nike back in the day. Maybe that's also because Manchester United were winning. If we were winning trebles wearing this jersey, I'm sure you'd have a few.
Yeah, if you were in troubles with that 3 stripe, I don't think you'd mind it as much.
I don't think it's a bad kit.
I like the call out. That is true, though. I think their vintage stuff is quality. Better than, I don't know if Nike does vintage stuff, but the Adidas stuff that's vintage is good. It's personal preference. It's also because the Chevy at the same time wasn't great timing.
I actually like this kit. I think it looks for, like you said, I think they trolled us. They put out this terrible design. That kit that looked like Memphis Depay should be wearing it. The one that looked like the bus,
Still does.
Upholstery on a bus. And they switched to this one, kind of classic. It looks comfortable. I'm not going to get one. #Lasers out. Looks, me, I'm not buying a jersey with Chevrolet on it. That's my pledge.
It'll sell. Put it that way. It's it's not my favorite, but it'll certainly sell.
And then I think so. We'll see, but it did feel preseason because of the new kits. Also, Ole absolutely going for the win. What do you make of this? Given that there's going to be such a tight turnaround, they're talking about delaying 2 weeks extra for teams that are competing in Europe. I think it's Wolves, Chelsea, us, City that are still in it. Obviously, Champions League, Europa League. We're going to have from the final, and if they give us 2 weeks, which is optimistic, there'll be 5 weeks. Is that enough time for players to rest, like the Pogbas of the world? Because there's going to be 3 weeks from the final to kick off of the first match, and if we get 2 extra weeks, that'd be 5. You got to get fit. So it's almost like the players are going to have 0 break if we go for it now. Ole could say, hey, we're going to play the youth. We don't care about this. We're going to have a regular preseason. Pogba, go hang out on a yacht. He clearly decided against that. I think that's the right decision. But could it cost us next season if we break down, say, in like November, December timeframe because they didn't have a break?
There's going to be a lot of clubs that are going to be in a similar situation. I think the fact that they're given the extra 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever they're agreeing to, should help, right? But we also need reinforcements. We still have some additions that need to be made before the season starts, whenever it does, depending on how far we progress in Europe. So we got work to do. This squad, we have some sells to do, and we got some buys, some big ones that we'll talk about a little bit later. But their reinforcements that need to be made because it's going to be a long season, right? Because aren't the Euros next summer? It's like there's going to be no stop for these players.
Yeah. Look.
And then the World Cup the following winter, it's going to be nuts.
No, this is going to be the most insane run of football of all time if it happens this way. And let's keep hoping because it's been great to watch. Match reaction, possession, United 64% of the ball to LASK 36. Shots on target 4-3. LASK beating us there. We did beat them on corners, sir. And Manchester United have netted 23 goals in Europa League this season, at least 4 more than the other side in the competition. Great stat to see. That's why we're favorites. Tony Marshall is now Manchester United's top scorer in all competitions this season with 23 goals. The Frenchman had scored just 23 goals in his last 2 campaigns combined for the Red Devils. So that's called doubling up. Jesse Lingard has scored back-to-back for Manchester United for the first time since December 2018. You like to see it. Jesse, squad player, he's taken on that role. Unfortunately, I think it's probably too little too late. And not since the 1980s have Manchester United failed to win a trophy in 3 consecutive seasons, which is a fate that awaits us if we miss out on the Europa League trophy. Can you believe that? That's since before I was born, and I'm old, son.
You're not that old. That just speaks to how impressive of a club this is. That's it's something, and I don't want to break that record. So I'm all about it. I like the intent that was shown by Ole by bringing in some of the stars, right? Bringing in Pogba, bringing in Martial. We're gonna win this game, and then I'm gonna use the rest of the stars that are on the bench, and we're gonna go on and win this tournament.
Yeah, no, I like Ole's thought process there. Manchester United have used 38 players in the Europa League side this season, the most different players a team has used in a single campaign in UEFA Cup European League history. Testament to our youth academy. Sir, what do we know? Let's check in with the manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And the terrible audio is literally the BBC. It's not us.
Hi, Ollie. Thoughts on the match? We all kind of knew United would be heading to Germany, but what's your thoughts on the performance from your side today and those that you brought in?
It was as expected, really, against the team that we knew were aggressive, going to press us. We found it a little bit hard in the beginning to find a rhythm in our passing, and we didn't create chances. But we needed game time, some of these players, and we needed to win the game. We wanted to win the game, and it's job done.
Ole, Sergio Romero came back in tonight and played very well again. Are you going to stick with him for the rest of this Europa League campaign because he's played the majority of the games?
Well, he's played well tonight, definitely, and I'm not going to say Sergio is the Europa League keeper. It's between him and David all the time. We're going to pick a team that we think is going to win this tournament. So you just have to wait and see.
James Robson.
Hi, Ollie. Obviously, a lot of changes tonight with the game being a formality. Do you envisage making this many changes again, though, in the quarterfinals and beyond?
No, we'll make changes, but now we travel to Germany with a squad that's had enough game time. These players needed to play tonight to get the rhythm and get the confidence up and get the feel of a game. So it won't be the same team. So we'll make some changes.
All right, those riveting questions from the press out there in England. Again, apologies for the poor audio, but it's been tough. These interviews have been decently tough lately.
A lot of audio issues. That's not uncommon. Meetings these days can be tough. I had a tough one today. More of the same. Here's Simon Stone. This is a pretty hilarious video that we're watching. It's all the Stooges, all the guys that basically will say whatever Woodward wants them to say, which I can't wait to talk about later.
Look, that's the name of the game, sir. That's the name of the game. What does Woodward want you to say? You say it, you get into the stadium. I mean, clearly we're not going to be invited by Eddie anytime soon. And if we do, it's going to be a mistake, and they'll listen, and then they'll kick us out. All right. Jumping into the Europa League bracket, the teams who have made it through today, it was Shakhtar, Inter Milan, Copenhagen, and us, and so we know who we're playing. Inter Milan has to wait on Rangers versus Bayern Leverkusen. Probably be Bayern Leverkusen again. I love this single elimination in the quarterfinal. It's going to be great. Odds to win Europa League, booking the bookies, Manchester United plus 188, sir. We are the odds-on favorite. Inter Milan plus 333. That has tightened. For some reason, the bookies has seen something in United. They looked at Inter Milan. They're coming closer. Leverkusen plus 650. They actually dropped. Wolves plus 700. Sevilla plus 800. Shakhtar plus 11. And then Roma right behind them. And Roma is going to give us Chris Smalling back because Ed Woodward can't get them to pay up. So maybe Chris Smalling will be back at Manchester United. Who knows? Ed Woodward, footballing genius. He's just playing 4D chess. We just don't even know what's going on.
You're giving him too much credit.
It's almost so bad. He's almost so bad he's good.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. It all might be part of his master plan, but the odds tightening are totally makes sense, right? I mean, Lukaku's on a tear at the moment. I think he scored 12 games in a row, hit 30 goals for the season. I would love to play them in the final. That would be a fun match to watch. They're going to have... We're talking about our boy.
Conte.
They're going to have Sanchez.
And they got Conte as well.
It's great.
We have a next match. That's right. We're going into the quarterfinals. Manchester United versus FC Copenhagen, sir, or pronounced Copenhagen, stateside. Rhein Energy Stadion. We're going to be playing Cologne. That's right. All these Europa League fixtures are in Germany. It's the home of local Bundesliga team FC Köln. The stadium was one of 5 stadiums hosting both the 2005 FIFA Confederations Cup and 2006 FIFA World Cup. And it's also going to host the upcoming 2020 UEFA Europa League final behind closed doors. So this stadium is fitting. It's where the final is going to be played. We're going to walk out there. We're going to enjoy it on Monday, August 10th, 12 p.m. Pacific, sir. What a sight to see.
It's a great town. It would be a great place to go to a final, have some, not dark ales, light ales. That's what they prefer there.
Those crispy,
like Pilsner-y type beers. They know how to do it. Small glasses. It would be a fun match to go to. I miss live football so much.
So when I'm in Germany, I drink out of big, thick glasses.
I know you like.
I still break them. History against FC Copenhagen. We've won 1. We've lost 1. We first played October 2006 in the Champions League, where Manchester United won 3-0. That year, Manchester United 06-07 won the EPL, made it to the Champions League semifinals, where we lost AC Milan and an unstoppable Kaká.
I remember that. I do remember that game.
If you recall, he headed the ball through, I forget the defenders.
It was Heinze and somebody else.
He might have been, for a certain period of time, he was the best footballer in the world. And then he kind of declined from there after going to Madrid. Kaká, AC Milan is when they were strong. Little history on Copenhagen. They're known as FCK, which is kind of like an acronym for fuck if you've ever seen it written down there. They're a professional Danish football club in the first division in Denmark. They were founded in 1992 through the merger of Copenhagen Boldklub and Boldenklubben 1903. So 2 teams in Copenhagen decided to merge together. We've seen that before. PSG, similar situation there. FC Copenhagen has won 13 Danish football championships and 8 Danish cups. They run it in Denmark.
Powerhouse.
In European football, FC Copenhagen has reached the group stages of the Champions League and the group stage of the Europa League more times than any other Danish club. They're the number 1 club in Denmark. They play in, obviously, the number 1 city in Denmark. Very understandable. Copenhagen plays its matches in Telia Parken, which also serves as the venue for Denmark national football team matches. Denmark national football team, doing pretty good, sir. They got the Schmeichels, they got the Ericssons of the world. Danish football is coming up, and since their foundation, FCK have developed a fierce rivalry with Brøndby IF. I've actually been to that match, the derby, the Danish derby. I actually studied abroad in Denmark. Part of the reason why I got into football was my study abroad program in Europe. And the one stat about the stadium, the one funny anecdote I'll tell you is, you go to stadiums in America, you go to buy a beer, you say, I want to buy 3 beers. Like, we can only sell you 2. You go to Telia Parken in Denmark, you say, hey, I want to buy 3 beers. They'll say, hey, why don't you buy 6? Why don't you buy 12? I think I was I want to say I was like literally 20 years old, and they have this cardboard device where you can carry 6 beers in each hand. So I literally got 12 beers. So they'll sell you as much as you want to buy in Denmark, just letting you know.
Brilliant country.
And in the UK, you can't even have a beer in your seat. Denmark, you can have 12 beers in your seat.
They are thinking about 12 beers a person.
Like outlandish. Like, can you imagine sitting down at a football game with like literally 2 6-packs? It's 90 minutes.
I bet you I could do it. I could kill all 12 beers, but I bet you it's like the most well-behaved crowd you've ever seen.
No, the Brøndby versus FCK, that gets pretty rowdy. Riot plays the whole deal. But again, they're a good football team. I think this is going to be an interesting match. We only play them 1 game, so winner take all. The pressure's on. United needs to come out and score fast. Obviously, we're going to look at Bruno. We're going to look at Greenwood. We're going to look at Rashford. We're going to look at Martial. If we come out and do what we've been doing, I don't have to worry about it. But I do think FCK is going to be a little tricky.
No, they're going to be hungry, right? They're a team with plenty to play for. The pressure's going to be on United, right? Now that they're the favorite to win the whole thing, well, you can't get knocked out by Minnows Copenhagen. That would be embarrassing. Would be the worst thing in the world.
They're no LASK, and
No, they're not. And LASK, they made us look average today. Different squad, of course, but we got to take them seriously. We got to expect them to come out and try and bring the pressure, like teams have shown. That's kind of how you play United. You make them play out of the back and just play our football. Yep. We're a better team. We're a better side. We should dispel them easily.
And the one point here, jumping in physio room, looking at injuries, we don't have a lot of injuries, right? I think that's a key theme coming back from COVID. The only one to really go down was Luke Shaw. That obviously hurts, but at the same time, We're not looking at a Greenwood out. We're not looking at a Martial out. After all of those hours they played consecutively, lack of rest, Bruno, they stayed healthy. So I think that's a huge coming into this tournament. Only have 3 games. Twanzebe, Shaw, Jones, all out. Sir, given that is the fact, what is your lineup?
Sir, it's very likely we call the same lineup. So let me just start with that. But I'm calling Romero.
You mean
net.
you're just going to copy my lineup? Yeah.
No, I'm not looking at your lineup, but there's a pretty obvious lineup that we're likely to see. I'm calling Romero in net because I think you stick with the cup keeper. And then it's going to be AWB at right back. It's going to be Lindelof, Maguire, and I guess B-Dubs with Shaw injured. The same midfield we're used to, Matic, Bruno, and Pogba, and a front 3 of Martial, Greenwood, and who else? Then Marcus Rashford.
All right, mine is a little different. I'm going to say Romero and net, but based on Ole's comments in the presser, I think Dave's coming into the knockout. I think I almost think like the footballing gods. You're kind of messing with the mojo a little bit when you take Romero out. He's going to be in net for me. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, B-Dubs, same back line. I'm going to put McTominay and Pogba in the midfield. Matic needs more rest. He's more of like a semifinal, final guy. Bruno, Rashford, Martial, and Greenwood. I like McTominay. I like to see him with Pogba. With those two on the pitch, they look pretty good. I think you got to try to rotate the midfield a little bit, though.
I think that's a cheeky substitution. I like that. The McTominay from Matic, save him. Because he's a little older, but he's so valuable. I think we could talk all day about.
He has had a lot of rest, so I mean, he's probably
should be ready to play.
He's probably going to play. And McTominay would probably be a sub coming on, but I'll stick with that McTominay, the cheeky pick there. Booking the bookies, there are no odds that were made for this game yet. They're going to let the next round games play. I think they'll set the odds probably tomorrow. I will tweet that out so you can check that out, sir. We have some United in the news.
Score prediction.
Oh, that's right. I messed it up. I was so excited. We got a new soundboard here at the American Red Devils, so we're going to be getting used to that.
Can't blame you.
Playing the sound effects here. What is your score prediction?
Sir, I think it's going to be, tight at the beginning, but I'm calling 3-1 to United.
I'm going to call 4-1. I think we're going to do the business. FCK, we shouldn't overlook them, but should score early and often, and we're always good for a goal at the back, especially, I want to say De Gea, but I think De Gea is going to be featuring. I think he's going to feature him. I feel bad for Romero, though, right?
I want him to start. I think Romero should start. It's like David did the job in the Premier League. We finished 3rd. David, take a seat. Let Romero win a cup again. He won the Europa League last time. Played excellent.
All right, sir. United in the news. We got the new news sound effects here from the soundboard, American Red Devils. We're going to be talking about transfers. Lots going on. Alexis Dirty Sanchez out to Inter Milan, sir. Big news that we're getting rid of one of the more expensive signings we made in recent history. Shout out to Edward Ward playing 4D chess. I don't know how this whole pay Sanchez a ton of money, have him do nothing for the club, and then give him away for free. I don't know how those types of genius moves are helping us, but I'm sure Edward Ward's got a master plan.
I mean, hey, we got him for a free transfer. What do we do? We lose Mkhitaryan transfer fee by this deal. But basically, you're getting that 60 million quid of wages that are due to him over the next 2.5 years off the books.
That's first of all, I'm going to say that's a Woodward number. No one knows the contract. Anyone quoting numbers like that, they don't know exactly what we're going to pay him. I do know on the books, wages was around 18 million disclosed. Apparently, there was bumpers to that just because the transfer fee was amortized over the deal. So you're probably looking at like a solid 40, 45. Then they're saying, well, if he goes on and hits all these assists and scores and wins, then it will be 60. So they're trying to spin and zone that this is a great deal. If you look at transfermarket.com, Sanchez, he's older. He can do a job. His contract's worth money. I mean, he's got 2 years on his contract. It's worth something. We got nothing, right? We gave it away for nothing.
You feel bad about that? I have no hard feelings. Get him off the books. Get him out. Get the 7 ready for Sancho. Move on with our lives. That piano, turn it into Kindle, because that's what we should do with that piano. We should get rid of it. It's bad luck. Throw it in the ocean.
I don't agree with the fact that we need to get rid of him.
Don't
look. I know. That's every fan just says get rid of him. That's a smart move. Totally agree. Get his wages off the books. It's not terrible business, but we have a track record of selling low and buying high. And at a certain point, you got to do good. What I would call good business is not doing that. Like that's called like manager mode in FIFA, where there's not real money, and you excel at that, sir. But when you're coming to like, you need to be able to like have a buyback for Zaha and like get him back for 20. All these deals that we could have done in the past, all the business we could have done better. That is what Ed Woodward should be judged on, and just. He's not able to get anything he can't even sell Chris Smalling. We're already seeing that fall apart. How is he going to Chris Smalling's actually playing well for Roma. He can't even sell him. Phil Jones doesn't even play. He's trying to offload him. How much are they going to pay for that? Sanchez, we got nothing. I thought we paid $6 million for Gallo to stay.
Hasn't played.
I'm talking about like $5 million for Sanchez, something, a bone, something. I'm just saying like 3. Just give us something. Like you have to say, you can't make me look bad. You got to give me something.
I mean, they made him look bad. He's Ed Woodward. He's got eggs on his face. This is the end of a bad deal. You have to close the bad deal. And unfortunately, it was a bad deal at the beginning. We all wanted Sanchez. Hey, we talked him up. We were excited. It didn't work out. Now you get rid of him. They got rid of him. You actually get it off the wage books.
We lost money on Di Maria.
We lost money on everybody. The Zaha one's bad. Honestly, that's one of the worst, is not having a buyback clause in Zaha. That's pretty bad.
So you want to see the opposite. You want to see the polar opposite where we look at Dortmund. Look at what Dortmund's doing. They're signing everyone, young, upcoming European talent, cheap, $20, $30 million deal, flipping them in 2 years for $100 million. They're making cash. They're reinvesting the side. Bellingham apparently we were arguing over 56,000 pounds a week was the difference from Bellingham, Jude Bellingham coming to Manchester United, going to Dortmund. Dortmund's going to sell him for 120. Dortmund is doing it right? And the thing is, like, that's sustainable business model over the long term. Woodward's run this club into the ground. So we're going to talk about Woodward a little later, but I'm not going to die on the Sanchez hill, sir. I think this is a win. Get him off the books. Ole was quoted in the post-game presser. We've agreed to the deal. He went the high road here. He's enjoyed some time here. He's a top player, but for whatever reason, we didn't see the best of him. He's a top professional. We wish him all the best. So look at that. Ole, Mr. Nice Guy. Send him off in the sunset. 45 games, 5 goals. Worst transfer ever?
No.
For Manchester United?
No. Di Maria's worse because he just is.
We hate Di Maria more.
Yeah, so that makes it worse because it leaves a worse taste in our mouth.
Di Maria was
better.
Pretty
bad. This is a pretty bad deal. I mean, there's been a lot of bad deals, unfortunately, with Eddie Woodward. Hey, it is what it is. If it is the beginning of something fresh and new, and we get Sancho and we kick on from here, whatever. It's part of history, and we'll just forget about it, laugh about it, like they laugh about other flops in the Premier League, but. It happens, and we're making bad deals. I mean, the big thing is, like, can we get value for the players that actually have value, right? Because Sanchez has played well. That's why we were able to get them to take his wages. Smalling is playing like absolutely like dominating in Serie A. We should be able to get a fee for him, even if it's not Roma. He should be able to go to another Serie A club or even Premier League. Like, I think Everton would pay £30 million for Chris Smalling.
And COVID, I don't know, sir. Things are changing. Next bit of news per Sky Sports. Obviously, this is very public. Quote, I want to thank all the coaches that looked after me from age 6 until now. Angel Gomez bids emotional farewell to Manchester United as he joins Lille. But the Red Devils will still be able to claim compensation around £260,000. Again, Ed Woodward, footballing genius, instead of getting the deal done or selling him a year earlier and making some money, we're just getting change.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one. He ended up going on loan right to Boa Vista in Portugal. So he got, I think, the same loan that they're going to give him. He stayed at United. It is what it is. I didn't see him making the step up in the Premier League with the physicality. He doesn't have the pace. He doesn't have the size. And I'm not too worried about this one getting away. I would have rather picked up
Maja.
Bellingham. Menji.
No, Maja. Josh Maja,
Maja. Maja. How's Maja? Yeah, exactly. He's like this guy is Maja. That's basically, yeah, well said, sir.
He's Maja without scoring the goals in League One, right? I think. Look, Gomez, good on you. I thought at one point he was linked with Chelsea. He's linked with all these big clubs, goes out in the open market, joins Lille. At the same time, I wish him well. I'm never going to tell him, hey, but I did tweet, bye, Felicia. I think at the end of the day, we offered a deal. He didn't want it. He wanted money, went there. He's got to earn it. Now he's got to show everyone, hey, you're going to break into the first team there, play well, get a transfer. I mean, this is kind of like the new kind of reset on his career, start from the bottom. I mean, Manchester United wants to sign you, and then you go to Lille. I mean, I don't know. Seems like a weird turn.
It was. You know, Lille and get loaned out. But this is Manchester United, and we're Manchester United fans, and we, you know, by and large, other than like the Di Marias of the world, even Sanchez, we will always wish players well. I think that's just kind of in our DNA. Like, you leave, but where no one's like, you know, unless you are Di Maria, condemning you and hoping that you fail. We want everybody to kick on. No, you know, we want United to prevail most.
Sir, you still got that Falcao shirt. You love the guy.
That guy's that's gone. Lost in the fires.
All right, we have some more news here. A little audio from Sky Sports, the latest on Jadon Sancho. Obviously, the transfer news everyone wants to hear about. Jadon Sancho.
Let's talk about the star of the window so far, England international Jadon Sancho. Of course, we know Manchester United are the club who are in pole position. Where are we with all of this?
I quite like a phrase that Sky Germany use a lot when they talk about transfers. They call it the sort of poker situation.
Yeah.
And they said a real poker game has now developed between Borussia Dortmund and Manchester United. Manchester United are making it clear. Basically, they are not going to get bullied. We're in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic. Every time Manchester United play at an empty Old Trafford, it costs them £5 million. There is no way they will pay £120 million for a player in the current climate. That's Manchester United's side as far as we can tell. Now, what are Dortmund saying? Dortmund are saying, that's fine. Not a problem. If you don't pay 120 million euros, you are not getting the player. So at the moment, we have a standoff between the two sides. Obviously, Sky Germany have excellent contacts at Borussia Dortmund. They are telling us in no uncertain terms that Borussia Dortmund are not interested in anything below 120 million euros. Now, there's lots of talk about could it happen with instalments? For instance, Manchester United pays 70 now, 30 next summer, 20 the summer after that. But our understanding of the situation is Manchester United are just saying 120 million euros for a player in this day and age is not possible.
Yeah, so if Willian is the saga...
Look, it's Sancho happening. Personal terms agreed. Clearly the club has been told, like usually when the transfers start, United go to Dortmund and say, hey, we want to buy Sancho. Obviously, Sancho wants to go to United. That's clear. So we say, hey, Dortmund, let's work out the deal between us. We'll negotiate with the player. Clearly, negotiating with Sancho is not a big deal. Wages, hey, we'll pay you big time. Ole rates him. Clearly, Ole said, this is my number one guy. Eddie, go get him. All right. Sancho's personal terms agreed. In parallel process, talking to Dortmund, all right, what's going to be the upfront fee? Clearly, United, we talked about their cash issues. It could be some sort of structured deal. So we started seeing different things, 60 million up front, 70 million up front, 120 million. They're going to break the transfer record. All this stuff going on. Buzzing on Twitter, like everything. Deals progressing. And this morning, Manchester United are not going to pay 120 million for Jadon Sancho. Why would we break the transfer record? COVID, boo-hoo-hoo. All the journos that are just pumping the Woodward propaganda. Simon Stone, BBC, word for word, putting everything out. The Athletic. Look, these journalists, I'm not slating them. They're going to put out what United tell them. And United are basically saying, can't meet that valuation. We don't want another Sanchez. Those are the bullet points, sir. Happy to read them. What are your thoughts hearing that? I told you yesterday about this. You were like, what?
Hakuna Matata, mate. Hakuna Matata. I've seen this story before. I've witnessed enough propaganda this year to know when I'm seeing propaganda. And when everybody's saying the exact same thing, it's coming straight from Woodward. I mean, you don't want to condemn the journalists and say they don't know anything, but I think there are sources that know a little bit more. His name is Fabrizio Romano, top of the list. And the fact that all of these guys came out in unison and we heard the exact same story right before we signed Bruno Fernandes and right before we signed Harry Slabhead Maguire. This is more the same. This is basically Woodward posturing to show that he didn't get raked over the coals and pay the full asking price, which he will, as we should. 120 million euros for Jadon Sancho at 20 years old, even in COVID, is a steal. Paid over 3 years, which apparently they're open to. So I think this is just posturing, sir.
I actually think that, look, and I think you're right. So, I mean, just quoted, we have a few headlines for you, but quoting the Daily Mail, quote, Ed Woodward has form of refusing to pay big money, but then backing down. Just asked Fernandes, Maguire, and Herrera. So is he really going to walk away from a £108 million deal for Jadon Sancho? Another United bluff, question mark. Ed Woodward, we've seen it before. For some reason, he's sitting they call it poker. He's sitting at the poker table. He thinks he has a hand. He has no hand. And basically Dortmund's like, we'll keep Jadon Sancho another year. We have no reason to sell him. He's a top talent. He's got to go for north of 100. They've said it. The most amazing part to me is no other club wants to sign him. Real Madrid, Barcelona, nobody wants Jadon Sancho other than us. And I told you on the phone before, I was like, something about this seems too good, and we're going to get caught with our pants down. Someone else is going to come and pip us for this transfer. Jadon Sancho, generational talent. Solskjaer wants him. Solskjaer earned the club $100 million by staying in the Champions League. The least they could do is spend that $100 on Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, I think this deal's going to happen. I mean, he just got rid of our number 7. There's so much positive news around it early in the week. Last week, he'll get eaten alive. If they don't get Sancho over the line, he's a dead man. He's like screwed because it's a reasonable price. They want to do it in installments. It makes it work. We finish in the Champions League. That's a good deal for Sancho. It's a good deal in 2020 for Sancho, and there's no reason we shouldn't do it. And I think this is just nonsense because he doesn't want to look like, United got taken advantage of because we have other deals to be done. And it is what it is. That's part of the game. But I think this deal is coming, and it's coming soon, hopefully.
Look, I will say that, going through the financials, we have Wall Street research models as well. So, the research fell off a truck. We actually have we have the Deutsche Bank model. We've reviewed them. I've compared them against my model. The cash situation at this club is very dire. Champions League, that lets us off the hook, right? They took down the revolver. Still, there's going to be a cash crunch like they just talked about. That £5 million figure per match is not necessarily correct. It's like $4 million for like Tottenham, I think Woodward said on the last earnings call he had. So it's not quite that much, but it is a lot of money. I do think fans will come back, but it won't be packed out. So you're going to see a serious hit to it. And in my model, I think I did 25% or 50% back starting in January. And even then, United are struggling for cash. 120 million or 108 million pounds, that is at the top of the mark for what we can afford. And then you have to think about, well, who can we sell, right? So I mean, we have 100 million to spend for sure without selling players. If we sell players, we get generate another 50. There's flexibility. You could do a deal there. They're going to structure it like we talked about even before this whole conversation even happened. We said, hey, they could do Sancho if they structure it, or if he's the only player that they buy. They're clearly going to structure. They're going to sell. They're going to bring some other players in. The main issue that I have with Ed Woodward, and I mean, like, I fucking hate Ed Woodward. This, like, absolutely, he's an absolute muppet. This guy, if you go through the deals he's done, like he's gotten caught with his pants down a million times. The one thing you should always do, and you go look at our noisy neighbors, you do the business early, you just get it done, you just pay up. It's like, it's not worth the $5 million to go through weeks of haggling and like shutting it. Like Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United, we paid full ticket anyway, and we just waited a month. Harry Maguire, we paid full ticket anyway. We waited a summer. I mean, we could have benefited from having Harry Maguire in earlier in preseason. We could have benefited having Bruno Fernandes in earlier in January. You can't really mess around. When the player wants to come, the manager wants him, there's no competition. It's just Ed Woodward and Dortmund. You got to pay up, Eddie. We'll figure it out. I thought the issue would be on how much up front they want, but now Woodward's trying to balk at the total figure. He does this every single year. It never works. United has zero leverage. Sancho's on a long-term deal at Dortmund, who probably could go farther than us in the Champions League based on their squad. Just Pip Bellingham. He's a complete muppet. And to see this article, to see him trying to screw the pooch, it's absolutely just get it done.
End of. Tell me what you really think, sir.
Just get it done.
Get it done. I agree. Get it done. Let's move on with our lives and pick up a center back and move on. It becomes a saga, and I think he kind of likes it. It puts him in the spotlight, I think, and then he gets credit when the deal's closed, and everyone's like, "Oh, look at Ed Woodward." Let's just get the deal done and move on. We got business to do.
There's a serious chance that we don't sign Jadon Sancho. I'm just letting you know that. I'm letting you know that based on, if you look at the numbers, and obviously they're not exact, but you have a ballpark of what their cash balance is, and you have a ballpark of what Dortmund wants. I was surprised Dortmund was entertaining taking that low of an upfront amount. I thought they would want 100 million cash straight up. For them to be considering 60 or 70 with the add-ons over 2 years, that only benefits United. And if they're offering that, United should take that hook, line, and sinker. So we don't know all the details. But Eddie looking to stumble out of the gates. Ake to City, stumbling. focusing on Sancho, only does one deal at a time, right? He can't sign a center back and do Jadon Sancho, even though he's working from Zoom. I'm sure he can't even figure that out either. I'm sure trying to get Ed Woodward on a Zoom call is an absolute fucking nightmare.
They got Teams. They got Microsoft.
Yeah, he's just completely just like all over the board. The way this club is run, other than selling Maui Jim sunglasses, is a complete shit show. Sancho should be done, dusted. Do it easy. This whole haggling in the press is just like, it's a fucking joke, Eddie. Get your head out of your ass.
Fired up. I love it. You're right. It's true. It's the same thing every summer. We're used to it. We've covered it. We've talked about it.
He's a loser. He's an absolute loser. Name a steal that he negotiated. Name a player he killed it getting them in on a crazy valuation, and name a player he didn't bottle selling.
If he gets this deal done at the terms we've heard, 70, 30, 20, that's a good deal for Sancho. I would be proud. I would be like,
that's not a good deal. That's market.
No, that's a good deal.
That's a 108 million pounds British transfer record.
He's 20. He has like as many goals as assists.
So I think Sancho's that good, but it's not a deal. It's just, Pogba,
you paid the price.
Pogba wasn't a deal. Lukaku wasn't a deal. Di Maria wasn't a deal. Like, name a deal that Ed Woodward's negotiated bringing him in.
He hasn't. The best deals we got are the academy lads.
Like, yes, you can say Chong.
Which he's nothing to do with, right? Like, we've been saved by the Greenwoods, the Rashfords, the McTominays of the world over the last 3-4 years.
Herrera. That was completely a shit show. Got nothing for him. He left. Couldn't negotiate the deal. I mean, that's
he's a chump. I mean,
perfect example.
We're in business.
Fellaini got nothing for Fellaini. Nothing for Fellaini.
He should have lost his job by now. The fact that he hasn't means that the Glazers, they should care a little bit more because he could make them more money. he could make them so much more money if he knew what the hell he was doing.
Exactly, right? Because it just seems to me, and I'll stop beating this dead horse, when Manchester United want to buy, we're desperate, everyone knows it, and they take advantage of us. And when we want to sell, everyone knows we're selling absolute dog shit, and they don't pay us nothing for it. And you need to kind of disguise it. Like, you look at a Dortmund, they're able to get rid of a Sancho who probably doesn't want to be there anyway. He's great, and then they benefit financially from that. Whereas United, it seems like how much we could get. Everyone knows Jesse Lingard's no good. We don't even want him. How much is someone going to pay? It seems like we have no leverage whenever we're sitting at the table from a negotiating perspective. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for this club. We got to get it right. That's why we need director of football.
Look at that face. Director of football? Look at that face. I mean, imagine negotiating with that guy. It's pretty understandable to believe why he's being taken advantage of. Yeah. Him and Matt Jughead. Like, yeah, I love to meet this ragtag team.
No,
it's like leading the player acquisitions at Manchester United.
Well, I'll tell you what. You and me both used to work in this field, sir. Ed Woodward's an investment banker. He's got no experience being a director of football, and that's why you see it. It's like he's playing FIFA Manager. It's basically he's playing FIFA Manager, and he's doing it for Americans that are unqualified to make those decisions. And they made some poor ones, sir. Sanchez being one of them. Next article, change the subject here. Wayne Rooney is right. Sir Alex was a great manager, but United's 2 Champions League final defeats by Barcelona showed that if he had one flaw, it was a lack of tactical genius in big games. This is Daily Mail. Wayne Rooney, the column, writing, Slayton, the greatest manager of all time. Wayne Rooney digging Sir Alex. Why is Wayne Rooney beer guzzling or getting arrested in airports? Wayne Rooney talking smack on Sir Alex so hard.
This is a sensational headline. They twisted a little bit.
He said he didn't.
I know what he said. But this is hard. Sorry, this is like my heart and my mind. You're pitting me against like 2 of my favorite idols of all time is like Fergie, Godfather, and then my boy, Rooney. Those games, we have to rewatch those games. Have you rewatched since 2009, man? I remember where I was distinctly. I was in Rome, couldn't get a ticket, watching that game, and it was brutal. So I'd have to rewatch it to opine because we lost to one of the finest teams that's played football that I've ever seen. That team that Pep had was Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Messi. That's as good of a team as you're going to see.
So he says basically. I remember Sir Alex saying we're Manchester United, we're going to attack. It's in the culture of this football club, and Rooney said he wasn't too sure about that approach. I think all the players knew deep down it was the wrong approach, that we were abandoning the way that it brought us success in 2008 semifinal, and sure enough, both times we got outplayed. So basically, he wanted to go toe-to-toe with Barca, beating Sir Alex Ferguson, being the greatest manager of all time, probably in all of sport. I'm going to go with him on that one. He tried to go toe-to-toe with Barca. If I remember the first 25 minutes, we looked like we were going to get a net, and we got hit on the counterattack, sir. It was a tough tough matches to lose. But why is Wayne Rooney taking stabs at Sir Alex? I know why. I mean, Sir Alex played him like a fiddle on his way out of Old Trafford. Before he retired, I mean, Rooney wanted to go to Madrid. He aired his dirty laundry, and it just turned. And for me, Wayne Rooney, I always had a little beef with him because of the stuff with Sir Alex. Because Rooney was a joker. He was drinking beer, smoking cigs. He wasn't
but all-time greatest goal scorer at Manchester United. Have a little respect, mate. Five titles.
I would argue that he could still be playing at Manchester United if he didn't beer guzzle, smoke cigs. To be honest, Rooney, I thought his image was being rehabilitated in a lot of fans' eyes, and then coming out, and he's had 2 digs at him in the last couple of months, and I'm just like, come on, Rooney, keep it in.
I'm not going to defend digging at the man. I don't think he should be saying that. I don't know where it came from. But no one's track record is impeccable. No one's track record is perfect. We got to play in 11. We got outplayed in that game. That was we didn't get it right. 09, that's a different story. You remember that game? We hung it at Messi had that ridiculous goal, and then we were spent. But I'm not going to shoot down the greatest manager of all time. Funny, you have to have big cojones to criticize the greatest manager of all time. So, Wayne, I don't know what you're thinking, but
Scholes,
put me in a tough spot.
Scholes, Neville, Ferdinand, all these guys never say anything bad. They'll never say anything bad. And it's just funny that Rooney's the one. He's salty.
You know why?
Why?
Because he's born in Liverpool. Because he's a Scouse.
All right, sir. Jumping into fan questions. We'll hit these at Tzolski on Twitter. Quote, good to see some youngsters get some game time. Always nice to get the W no matter how ugly it may be. On to the next round. Lads will be well rested. I'm going to keep banging this drum. Let's go, Ed. What are you waiting for? Everyone's buying players. What are you doing? Question mark. Tzolski beating that dead horse for me.
He's right. Hey, I like how you hit it. You talked about City. Sometimes you have to talk about rivals. I know you hate when I talk about Liverpool, but City.
Who?
They get their business done early and they get it done quietly. They just get it done. Deals are done. It's no big deal. And United, it's always a saga. It's always a drama. It will be worth it for Sancho, but don't drag it out all summer.
At Ty Kircher on Twitter. Almost fell asleep a few times. Not entirely unexpected with the backups. Good for Jesse to score again. Moving forward is all that matters. That save from Romero, though. Quarterfinals, here we come. Glory, glory. Man United, please, let's finish Sancho. Hashtag sack Woodward. I would say Sancho is probably more important than the game as far as the fans. At Malger Heath, quote, a win's a win. We need depth badly, though. Unfortunately, I don't think we have the coffers to get depth. Few players here and there. At Timber_bro. Timber bro, quote, is there a crossing school Dan James can be enrolled in? Hashtag love the pod. Dan James, he's playing on the wing, not getting the ball in. He got to get in sooner.
He put together some strong performances early in the season, kind of slowed down a little bit later on, and then obviously got a spot taken once the restart got going. It's going to be hard for him to get minutes. He's going to have to step up when he gets a chance coming off the bench. He has dangerous tools in his locker. It's just that sometimes he overthinks. Sometimes he doesn't make the right pass. I don't know. We'll see what happens to Dan James.
At Lemuel_Dynasty, quote, it wasn't our greatest game, but one thing I can say is I'm finally confident enough to know that once we go behind, we'll push until we get that win. I'm no longer scared or worried that going behind means inevitable defeat, onwards and upwards. I think that's a good point. Going behind was kind of like a boogeyman. It felt like some points earlier this year before the restart, going behind, we could only hope to get the draw if we were lucky. Now we're going ahead winning. Obviously, Martial in form helps a lot, but I think that's a great point.
It is a great point, and that was still with basically a B squad and throwing in Pogba, throwing in Martial. So I think you're right. This team is showing grit, showing resiliency. Now you got to get a trophy.
At Nick's Geek Girl on Twitter, quote, always love a win. Good to see some of the others get some time on the ball. I totally agree. And we're going to finish it off with this one. At Clayton Denson, quote, who will be United's first signing of this transfer window, sir? You got to pick one.
It's got to be Jadon. That's got to be my bet.
I'm going to say we're going to sign a defender before we sign Jadon Sancho. I think this Dortmund wants the deal done by August 10th, for the record. It's the 5th. We got 5 days. Eddie's already putting out junk in the press. Either it's done on the 10th or this could be a full October saga. October special. Eddie October special.
It's either, you're right. It's either going to get done quick or drag. Because I don't think that 10th means nothing. 100 million pounds, 108, whatever it is. They'll work it out. But I think there's a chance that, right, if it doesn't get done quickly, it's going to just drag and drag.
Look, if Eddie, and I've talked a lot of smack about Ed Woodward, but if he can get this deal done in this environment with the cash that United have, I will sing his praises on the next podcast. So I'm willing to walk that back because it's a tightrope he's walking right now. Look, sir, it's been a real podcast. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. I know we had a lot of transfer talk. Mediocre match, onwards, upwards. I think things are going to get exciting, and I hope we face Inter in the final. If you want to support this podcast and support independent fan content, again, the American Red Devils, we are for fans, by fans. Check out our online store, americanreddevils.com. We're getting some new merch in as well. Write a review on iTunes. Also, fill out our annual survey. It's on Twitter. We really appreciate your feedback. We're trying to improve in many ways we can. Sir, we got a new soundboard in. We're not so used to it running it live on the pod, but we shall get better. We've had some amazing downloads last 7 days. Sir, give us our top cities.
Ooh, we got a new entry at the top of the table, and we're happy to see him there. Number 1, how you doing? Dublin, Ireland. Shout out to everybody on the other side of the pond. Number 2, Martinez, California. Number 3, Busan, South Korea. Ooh, your French is better than me, sir. 4, Tressevers, Canada. Denver, Colorado. Tallahassee, Florida. Los Angeles, California. Wandsworth, United Kingdom, Indianapolis, Indiana, and last but not least, Gainesville, Virginia. Appreciate all the downloads. Appreciate all the American Red Devils all around the world listening in. Like it. Nice diverse pod for downloads all over the world.
Yeah, and shout out to the Shire, Norway. Ole supporters down there on the list are 14th, Oslo, Norway. Look, it's been a real week, sir. We've been yapping. How good does it feel?
Ole still at the wheel.
We want it all.